As a support player, whoa.
Definitely, yeah.
I think that we are already ready to go
Finally.
to Champion Select.
Let's go.
The first ban is about to kick in. What are your expectations for the ban phase?
I would say just solid. Like right now, there's a lot of broken picks like Ezreal and Ornn, of course, and then maybe something like Cassidy. We saw it a lot already, but I think it's not on the scale of like super broken or something like this.
Ooh, Zoe is being banned. Yeah, Zoe is a pretty good champion, but I think that Zoe is not that strong anymore. Not because of the nerfs. The nerfs weren't they were negligible, but I think that
just adjustments, I would say.
Yeah, and people just got the information how to play around it. And when you're playing competitive, when it's not solo queue, I don't think that Zoe is really that strong because it's really easy to play around the portal jump. Whenever she jumps in, you're like guaranteed where she's gonna be in 1 second. So you just prepare your crowd control, and she's donezo. She's super squishy.
Already can say that they made their homework because I just see them banning Jace and Azir. So those are go-to champions for Lucchesi and for Doxy. Actually, Jace would have been a flex for both of them.
Oh, is Lucchesi playing Jace?
Definitely.
All
yes.
right.
I can remember him like playing this in TCL. I think he also used to play this in LPL, but yeah, not too sure on this, you know.
All right. The last ban is about, and this time it is Ornn, because last time what we saw...
it's a blue side on then. I think they should not have done this. Usually it belongs to the red side, unless they really want to secure something like on the bottom side or something. Other than this, it doesn't make sense to ban the Ornn because you can simply just also like take it, you know.
Yeah, probably opting for the support. The first pick is about to kick in. Actually, Ezreal being banned away. And Sejuani was left open. I really forgot about it. That Glacier Storm is just really strong. Yeah. It's not only the early game pressure with the Permafrost, but it's also scaling into mid game and late game insanely well. I really like the decision to pick Sejuani as a first pick right there.
Going to be interesting how they answer to this. And one pick that we didn't see like in the first match so far was something like Kalista. I think super strong as well. And of course, there is the option to have something like Kalista with Alistar or
Kalista sounds
really
scary.
Strong lane, or Morgana even.
Morgana into Alistar it would be great, but I don't think that is really that good.
Yeah, and we see like them rotating over Warwick right now. Really weird if they want to go for that pick right now. Like usually they tend to go for a support. Maybe it's a placeholder though, but still I think Warwick is okay-ish right now.
It is actually really good. This is scaling insanely well, and I think that it's one of those champions who can do a 1v1 insanely well in the jungle. And did you watch the semi-finals of Kings of the Nordic?
Not really, to be honest.
But there was one Warwick player who was just demolishing every team, and then for the rest of the teams they were banning it. Oh, now we're seeing Alistar. So as you mentioned before, I think it is important to secure Morgana right now. Morgana seems to be really strong against Sejuani, and Alistar is just insanely good pick.
Should be something like this, or it should be like Tamkench. So, like definitely something that can like completely turn it around against an Alistar. And like I said, there's the Kalista. It's just such a great champion. They opt for the more mid-game heavy Sivir here, and do you know what that means? Most likely, Sivir has a great free item power spike, so most likely they will opt for aggressive mid-game. And with Sivir, it's pretty much like you see someone on the mid, like after you get the outer turrets, you see someone mid, turn on the ultimate and just run them over.
Sounds clear, but Zilean is being hovered. So instead of taking Morgana, it is Morgana. I love that pick. I thought it was Zilean. Like Zilean could save potentially one person, but with Morgana Black Shield, you can just save everyone over and over again because.
Sivir would, Zilean would have been so weird if this went as a support, because in terms of laning and trading, it would have been completely, like, horribly wrong.
Ooh, Karthus is being banned. I saw Lucchesi playing a lot of Karthus in solo queue. To be honest, I think that it's his go-to pick for this tournament, because if you would check his OPGG, man, he was spamming Karthus all over again.
I think it's more like I think it's a fun thing for him, because I don't think he would have played this in the match here. I think it's just like some bent or something for solo queue, to be honest. I don't consider Karthus that strong for competitive or anything.
His win rate is really good though.
Yeah, give him that, so. I mean, it's okay, because he already draw one ban with this, so pretty much should be happy with this.
Oh, Camille is banned as well.
Good ban.
Yeah, it is a really good ban, but the Gnar is still open, and I don't think that there's any response for Gnar right now. If they're picking Gnar, I think that GameplayDNA in this case, they are forced to... Oh, actually they're going for Kazakhstan, so 4 or 5 mid lane bans, if you consider Jace.
Well, but this does tell you something about the pick for mid lane here. Because there's like, right now, a lot of mid lane champions are banned, so the pool is quite limited right now. There's only Orianna, Open, and what else is left though?
Corki? Corki's left open?
You're right, Corki is actually there, and they choose GP, which is also quite a good pick right now at this time. But they are also...
only Gnar that could really abuse him.
The
Otherwise, if you go into tank...
Or Jax.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they really tend to be super late right now, and I don't like this actually. Like, picking way too late in terms of comp, like, can backfire. Because right now on this patch, mid-game, early game is pretty important. They have the package with Corki, and there's the Gnar.
There's Gnar.
And this is pretty scary.
Doxy, he was known for his Gnar. He has played that champion for so long, for so many games. I think it's really scary, and he definitely knows this matchup. When there's a melee to range matchup, Gangplank gets punished so hard with her.
Yep. And now they run into some issues because there's only Vlad left. And
oh my!
Actually, I love this matchup. I would say this is perfect. And Vlad is such a good champion right now on this patch as well. Yes.
Oh my! I don't think so at all. I don't really like Vladimir because look at their team comp. They have to scale so long. They have to play around bot lane just to get any kind of lead. And then, yeah, if game goes up to like 35 minutes, then they can do something. But before that, Corki gets his power spike way earlier than Vladimir. Gnar has his power spike way earlier. Everyone of their team. Like, it seems so much easier for GameplayDNA to execute their plan. And also, look at the actually, I don't think that I can say it right now about summoner spells. Yeah.
Well, honestly, shouldn't spoil that because players can hear you, right? Yeah. So yeah. But if they choose to go with to go with these sums, though, then I would say it would go towards Corki early on.
Yes, yes, definitely.
But definitely Vlad is a factor, though. Like, especially once he gets past level 4, it's going to be easier for him. And also on level 6, he can instantly delete any champion. It's possible for him. And also I really like the fact that they have GP as well, so they could manage to play aggressive on Vlad. And the sustain is quite heavy with him. So yeah, I can still remember that I had to talk back like pretty much 1 season ago with Frozen, who is playing for Fenerbahce, and he has like a lot of experience. He played more than 3 years in LCK, and he told me that Vlad is pretty much good whenever you have a champion as the opposing matchup who like is not that great early on without jungle help. And now Sejuani is not really known like to have
for helping early game.
Exactly. So if they had something more aggressive, like an Elise, like a Lee Sin, like a Jarvan, I would have totally said they can crush mid lane here. But right now, if this Vlad gets safely through the early game and transitions well into the mid game, I think Warwick and Vlad, they can like totally rip them apart.
And the thing is, when you want to gank Vladimir as Sejuani, I think it's nearly impossible, because when you get 4 stacks of permafrost and you want to hit that stun, it's so easy for Vladimir to predict that, because once you see the 4 stacks on yourself, just use W, pull away, and then you're good to go.
Questionable is like his summoner choice on Vlad though, because usually Ghost is way better. Yeah. Just to chase people off, to get into the backline as well.
You can play with the Unsealed Spellbook. You can keep the Ignite for the lane pressure, and then after the laning phase is over,
actually, that's pretty smart though. That's pretty smart. He might have done that actually.
Yeah. It is possible. You can even go for the teleport in the early game if you're thinking that it should help you in the laning phase. So it's really possible. Were you watching the kind of a memeful tournament, Tyler Championship? In the NEE, Tyler won championship.
Actually, I didn't watch it, but
it was the finals. Stream Dream Team, something like that. The Dyrus, Shifter, and so on. Yeah. Those guys with the I'm a Cutie Pie, they were playing in the finals against MLGB, and Boy was playing Vlad in the top lane, and it was super successful. Yeah. Yeah, with the Unsealed Spellbook, and then the Unsealed Spellbook was like taken into consideration that it's actually legit mastery, like rune choice. Because before that, everybody was like, why would I use it? Yeah. Why would I use Aerie? But now Aerie is nerfed, and Unsealed Spellbook is pretty good. So it might be the case.
It got adjusted actually, yeah. And also, I think this season by far gives you the most options in terms of runes. You can pretty much like try anything out. There's just some broken stuff. Like I still think Kleptomacy is way too strong though. But yeah. Gonna be interesting how they use the Sivir, because with this comp you can really try to go for like catch-ups or anything like this on mid lane if you see someone. You can play really aggressive, but at the same time they like have to be careful with choosing where they want to fight, because usually against this comp, like both comps are really okay when they want to fight in clutch areas, like in jungle area or somewhere there.
Yeah.
But I would definitely give the edge here to the red side. Because they have GP, they have Vlad, they have Morgana. So
if they survive to the late game, if they don't int in the early game or mid game, this actually looks really.
Yeah.
And the problem is, it's really easy to execute. I mean, Vlad is not that hard to play. Warwick is also way too tanky and dealing way much damage. So I think that even though they're lower on the solo queue ladder, like the GameplayDNA, they're all masters and challengers. By the on the other team, they're diamonds. So I don't think that's really hard to execute. And yeah, that's what we're seeing. That's Unseal Spellbook on Vladimir with the ignite for the lane pressure, and probably he's gonna opt for a ghost later on.
Quite good actually, quite good. So there's two ways of playing Gangplank as well. You could either go for Kleptomacy or tank Gangplank.
With the Grasp of the Undying.
Yeah, I think it's not that good into a range matchup though, because you're not able to pull that off often without losing tremendous amount of HP. Na is really a lane bully in this case, so...
Right, so the first game of the second semi-final of National Elite Esports already starting in. Both teams are going for a 5-point start. It seems to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and they are making their way onto the Rift, but do we might see like a level 1 like aggressive invade or something like this, because both teams actually have enough CC and decent enough level 1 to manage to pull like at least a flash or something, or maybe even get the kill, because it's pretty much hit one binding and then follow up on this, so, or even like pulverize or something like this, so yeah.
Yeah, Morgana is super scary in the early game invades. And we're seeing the relic shield on AD carry.
Yeah, and once again, both bot lanes starting with the Targon's Brace here early on. We saw that a lot actually, also in the first game. So it's interesting, like why they choose to do that. Probably because it gives you a lot of sustain. Also gives a lot of gold to the supports though, which is quite nice. Of course, there is no Ardent Sensor Rush anymore, but yeah.
It seems that it's a little bit... Okay, so we're seeing the mid lane right now. It's the view is a little bit shaky. Happens, I guess. So as it goes for the mid lane, both are going for Doran Shield, and in fact they are going for ignites, and both go for Doran Shield. So actually, this is pretty safe in the mid lane. While in the bot lane, we're seeing a shaky screw again happens. The Kleptomancy, as I mentioned before. Oops. Yeah, the Kleptomancy in the bot lane, in the top lane for Gangplank. It seems that it already gave the gold stack, so it's really good for the Gangplank. Also get the HP potion, so it shouldn't be that difficult to pull that off.
And yeah, like most likely we will see into the same fashion, you know. Na should actually dominate on the top side, but actually got level 2 way too late in comparison to GP. Sejuani is making their way to the crab on the top side now. And Warwick overall a bit slower actually. But yeah. And right now bot lane is pretty dangerous, I would say, because Alistar can freely go aggressive if Morgana misses the binding.
And now we're seeing jungler, so 1v1 right there. Warwick might be in trouble, but actually he's not. He's actually the king of the jungle. He can 1v1 Divider easily right there in that situation. Gnar is there to help. Stun does not connect. He's flashing out the way. But now we're seeing bot lane
what
action.
Was that? Why did he do that? He could definitely go aggressive there. No reason for him to go that defensive. And actually great use of the spell sheet here by Toaster, guarding Pulsars to not to get hit by it. But yeah, definitely a big mistake here, because they just had the earlier move, they had enough damage on Sejuani preemptively, so no reason for him to go that defensive. Overall, I would say a small mistake here. Could have went much better for them.
He also had double buffs, so I think that he was easily... Oh, now we're seeing another gank in the top lane. Divider is there with the double buffs. He's flashing out to not get the permafrost stack, but the 4 stack is there. He has the orange already. Now the Warwick is joining in the fight, but he has no flash this time. Will that be enough? The fear is landing on Sejuani. He might be in trouble. Only 10% of HP left for both of the GameplayDNA top laners, but now we're seeing some action in the bot lane. He's in the bush, but actually nothing really happens, and in the end, I think that the team Falcon Gaming is pulling that off, the counter.
Actually, flash engage here on Tristana, and she might get first blooded here. Very nice play by Sylvia. And also definitely from Alistair, Pulsar's just pulling out the flash play and amazing. And I already, like I said, it's really like probably another great performance by him. I'm just gonna predict this year. I really like the guy.
Yeah, it's really hard to react for Morgana for the flash Alistar combination. It's basically impossible. Oh, now we're seeing some action in the mid lane. I think that Corki might be in trouble.
Has to be careful here.
Ignite is going in on Vladimir, but now Warwick is there to help. I think that Lucas might be in trouble. He actually gets solo killed in the mid lane.
And that's what I meant by Blood. Like, it definitely is a factor. Like, massive disrespect here by Lukizy, and that's actually completely going against what we were talking about before the game, because we were thinking that it might be quite easy for Lukizy and his friends, like, to just win this match, to be honest.
Yeah.
But right now, Falcon Gaming doing a really great job and hanging into the game. And remember, we said this in the draft as well, they have the better late game comp and already winning in the early game. That's quite something.
Yes, it is. And all I have to mention right now for the Corki, he died solo. He loses the XP. He is on the CS disadvantage just a little bit. But he came back to lane without any potions against Vladimir. This is crucial. Whenever you're playing Vladimir and seeing your opponent coming back to mid lane without any potions, you know that you can just trade over and over again, and in the end
Win
you're
in the
gonna
long
have,
run.
you're gonna be just ending up with more HP. That's
And
so crucial.
another big issue is that they are almost level 6 here. And Vlad is really oh, actually,
Sejuani is
Sejuani
coming
turns
in
here.
the mid lane. He just barely connects, but there is no permafrost with the stun on him. And as it goes for the top lane, I did expect it to be a little bit more one-sided for Doxy, but it seems that the Axidy, he's a master tier player, by the way, so it's not only stacked with diamonds on that side.
Yeah.
So he's not having really an easy time to abuse that range advantage. He actually has the Sheen, he has the Kleptomancy rune, so he's gonna scale so well into mid game. I really like what is happening right now.
So actually we have a pause coming in here. So there might be an issue with settings or with gear or something on the stage right now. Might get some intel on this like soon trademarks.
Some trademarks indeed.
But yeah, overall, like the action pretty much happening on the top side, and would have expected that Na has a lead early on, but does not have it against the GP, which usually has the like upper hand. Like Na should definitely win in this matchup, but
especially pre-6. After
Yeah.
6, Gnar is actually having a hard time. Whenever he gets back to mid-Gnar, and if he uses his hop somewhere, I think that Gangplank actually might find a gap, a breathing room, where he can just all in and get a solo kill even.
definitely, yeah. And now with Vlad being ahead, and like he has the first blood, right?
Yes.
So with
No,
level
it was the first blood in the top lane, I think. I suppose.
no. I'm quite sure it was either actually Sivir. Actually Sivir.
it was in the
They
bottom.
managed to pull out the
Boosted
first
caster was
blood. Boosted caster. But yeah, like with that being said, Vlad already level 6. They should definitely not turn on him anymore. Definitely not play aggressive on
Especially
mid
when he
lane
has
anymore.
top watch. I mentioned before that it's really hard to gank Vladimir. We're going back to game, by the way. When you want to gank mid lane as a Sejuani, you always have to take care and count his cooldown on W. If he has W, it's basically impossible to gank
You
for
need to bait out the pool beforehand.
Yeah,
definitely.
but he has top watch. It's even more difficult for him to gank mid lane. The mid lane is already done so because Lucchesi, he took the ignite.
So yeah, and right now, like I think there's like 2 ways what they could do. Either focus around the bot side, but now GP is 6 as well, so the only thing that they could do there is like bait out the GP ultimate and then play around the top side. But yeah, definitely alternate route would be to just play on the top side and try to get Na ahead, so they win on the solo lane. And yeah, but sadly, I see Na pushing in way too often, and there's little to no wave management there.
And we're seeing the same situation in top lane as well. He has no potions in the mid lane, no potions in the top lane. If they get poked out, I think it's really easy for Bronze to Smurf just to come over to any kind of lane. Oh, now we're seeing... actually spell shielded that. Divider is still level 5. But yeah, about the potions. It's really easy for the solo laners to poke out their opponents and to Warwick just to jump in under the tower, and it's really not that difficult to pull out another kill in solo lane.
Actually, right now we saw pretty...
Warwick is there in the mid lane, he jumps on the Corki. Corki has nothing to do but to flash away. Alert is still waiting for his empowered Q, but does not go in. Now the Corki is forced to back away, otherwise the Vladimir can just flash in. Now we're seeing some action in the bot lane. Sivir is trying to pull off as much damage as he can while he's having that lead with BF Sword in the bot lane. Tristana still haven't backed. It's 7 minutes and more.
She goes aggressive once again on Morgana here. She drops fairly low, but yeah. They could prepare a dive here, but sadly Sejuani's on the top side. They kind of wasted the GP ultimate on mid, to be honest. But yeah, right now Toaster and Pulsar's both having the pressure on bot lane. And like you mentioned, they still didn't back yet, and it really hurts them, to be honest. Like, they could even approach the Infernal. We have another Infernal, by the way.
Another Infernal. 3 games in a row already.
It's crazy. My. But yeah, I feel like it's scripted by Riot, that whenever we have offline events, that there's a higher amount of Infernals overall.
Yeah, so you should opt for early game advantages and winning matchups, definitely, because you need the Infernal break.
I have to say that this Infernal is such a high priority.
Now we're seeing
actually they go aggressive.
Sejuani is there, but he has no more oranges. The stun connects. Actually, the tower aggro goes on Divider and he cannot proceed to dive. Now he gets another tower attack. It was so close for him to go down. Now the Lucas is there in the top lane. He might be getting a kill. Gangplank is going down. Meanwhile, Vladimir
packaged.
Gets packaged indeed.
And they most likely get the first blood turret right now.
That was so clunky by GameplayDNA. Actually, now they're going for the melee tower, but now Warwick is there. He has no ultimate. Actually, he has the ultimate. He kills the first one with the Q, but goes down and gives the double buffs to Doxy. Now, this is starting to look a little bit shaky for Falcon. Alert is trying to stack his Q. He might be looking for a E-flash combination, but it seems that GameplayDNA decide just to retreat after what they've done in top lane.
And actually he dropped so fast here. Warwick really doesn't offer that much, to be honest. Just got his upgrade on the Ninja Tabbies right now, but before only had the Tiamat, and most likely is a build where you want to sit in the jungle as much as possible. So, like, it's pretty much going on a suicide mission when he flashed in there, but overall I would say that great play from Lucchese's team here. Moving towards the top side, making sure that GP doesn't have an easy life, and that's what you need to do against the GP. Never give him the free time and free farm, of course.
Exactly, and with that kill on Corki, it's gonna be so difficult because the Hex Drinker is already being bought in the mid lane, and Vladimir, whenever he's facing a Hex Drinker, he's facing a lot of troubles, because the point when you're playing Vladimir and you're ahead with the Proto build and with the Ignite in your pocket, you want to all in and just one-shot the enemies, but when the Hex Drinker is there, it's so hard to do.
Also, it delays Corki's power spike a bit, though. So at least it's not as bad, I would say. So for Blood
we have to mention that he has no flash.
He goes super aggressive right now. Just goes for the dive. What is he doing? It's way too early, no?
Valkyria is there, but Bronze the Smurf started tank tower. He does not connect the ultimate, but I think that Corki is still going down. Alert is using his stopwatch, but is that going to be enough to survive that situation? He actually tanks another one tower shot, and both of the Falcon game members might be just going to respawn by not their own will.
What is happening over at top side here? SCD is in trouble as well.
I think that Warwick is winning that 1v1. Actually, he is. The Tiamat and Ninja Tabbies is just insane for Warwick. And as I mentioned before, he's
the sustain just insane on Warwick here. And
that was close to put it off, but he didn't. And now the Pulsar is taking another kill in the mid lane.
Wolf was going down, but yeah, quite surprising. They took so much damage on the turret here on mid lane.
It was a little bit of miscommunication because Vladimir went in way too early. Warwick was still on the Braves. He couldn't over the wall.
So yeah,
now we're seeing Toaster got binded by Morgana. Now he still has his spell sheet. Is that gonna be enough? Yes, he is surviving the damage from Tristana, but is that gonna be enough to survive when she flashes over the wall? I think that is not. He gets stunned
and gets outplayed actually.
Yeah, and Sejuani was there just in time. Another kill for GameplayDNA. They are actually pulling off. They're not being proactive with everything happening on the map, but they're just reacting and saying, okay, we're good with your moves. I think that we can do it better.
Yeah, it feels like they just have it in their DNA, but yeah, cheeky pun there. And actually, no, get the first Drake, and it's an Infernal. That's quite big actually, that they get it. It's so good for Corki and Silver though, which are scaling tremendously into the late game. And yeah, they might just want to go towards the top side and get the turret as soon as possible.
There's no Black Cleaver finished yet on Gnar, so he's not that obnoxious in the top lane for Gangplank. I still think that the Gangplank is still a ticking bomb, you understand?
Warwick is approaching Na here.
Ooh,
just chops
Warwick
away.
Still has his ultimate. The fear is already there. Ultimate connects. The battle is already there as well.
Has to flash away.
The Gnar, he does not get the Mega Form because it was pretty far away. He still has a teleport. Now the Black Cleaver is already in his pocket. Another kill for Falcon Gaming. Well done. Actually, Warwick is doing so much on the map. Even when he's dying on the ganks, but he's like, I'm here, I'm there.
Honestly, a bit unlucky though that GP doesn't get the kill here, would have been just so perfect. A nice bait by Pulsas actually, just pulverizing, not even going for the headbutt.
Ooh, so much damage being received for Tristana. Already 0-2, pretty shaky bot lane right there, but we have to understand they still have a really strong scaling solo laners. So
yeah, and
this game is actually way more equal than I expected it to be.
The package should
not
be
biased
up
at all,
soon.
not biased at all, by the way.
So the package should be up soon, and then they can thread another dive on the... I think this time it should be around the bottom side, so... But
you have to understand they are diving Morgana. Morgana is just insanely good against Sejuani and Alistar.
Very true.
We're seeing right there in the bot lane. Demolisher is almost popped right there. There we
I have to say, they hit the CS hit the turret way too early though. Now Pulsas is forced to use his ultimate because he was hit by a binding. They just crashed the wave way too early here, like for Divider. Again, miscommunication on that part. As they have in this game actually quite nice vision.
Yeah, and both junglers are in the bot side. I believe that Corki has his package up already. This could be a potential 4 versus 4 in the bot lane, but Arlet, he didn't change his ignited teleport. Now we're seeing some fight in the middle, in the jungle. Divider is looking for the blue buff, but
I think they're just scooping up here. At this point it's pretty much whoever gets the mid priority first, so look, is he playing really aggressive here.
But Falcon Gaming in this station, they cannot get the mid priority. Look at the package. The package is providing so much damage. Now they're going for the tower. Sivir pops his ultimate. Ghost Toaster is there. The boomerang does not connect. He's actually not even using that. Now the Warwick is under crowd control, but right there the binding connects. Package is already over.
Flash over the wall gets the kill as well, and now Toaster is in trouble. Most likely will fall, and now Arlet is there.
Vladimir is providing so much damage, but the Hex Drinker there is on the Corki. Gangplank just teleported there in the fight. He still has his Klepto 1C. Oh, a nice combination from Pulsas. Actually, the orange helps him out a little bit. Divider is just a little bit low on HP, but Tristana is going down on the fight as we couldn't see that. I think that it's the first blue tower. Definitely it is.
Yeah, but I thought Arlet could go way more aggressive here. Should have been more confident, to be honest. There were so many low targets, and if he had if they had more to give there at this point, then maybe it would have been a better outcome for them. But yeah, overall, they got the objective once again. GameplayDNA, great macro play so far, I would say. This time the wave was crashed perfectly. Then I have to say, a little bit shaky shield from Morgana. But also Pulsas waiting it out perfectly, then turning on Morgana. And at one point I was thinking they're using way too much resources on the Morgana, but still managed to pull out. And yeah, sadly.
And the headbutt pulverized combination from Pulsas on 2 targets, that was just insane.
Yeah.
I think it's really crucial when you're fighting in these narrow situations just to put the wards over the wall, because Alistar was just standing there in the fog of war, and then he could accomplish that combination, which would never happen.
But actually, you could see both teams fairly even when it comes to macro, because like the bot lane immediately going towards the top side now. Just they want to cut the bleeding and try to stay in the game. Now Luxi has to be careful. SCD is going really aggressive here.
He has no summoners. The Valkyria might help him out to get over the wall. Yes, he does get over there.
And now Sejuani just pressuring the next objective on the top side. They just get the next turret. Now Arlet, is he in trouble?
No,
doesn't really look like.
He has the empowered Q.
But they are outnumbered on the top side here, and right now I would ask Warwick where he is. Like, is there any way they can come back into the game by making a pick? Because right now GameplayDNA is just taking structure after structure on the map.
And now the mid lane might be in trouble. Tristana is there in the top lane trying to get as much experience as she can, leaving Morgana in the mid lane. He's trying to get back into the game just to get some more levels and form, but it seems that's like a difficult task. He still haven't finished his Infinity Edge in 17 minutes.
And Riftheld is still up there. It's still on the map. It's a possible objective to take for GameplayDNA, since they dominate the most likely mid game now, as we see the first item power specs on most champions. And yeah, like right now, Falcon Gaming can't really match that.
As it goes for the Rift Herald, maybe they have a slight chance if Megnar is over for Doxy, and they have the fight when Doxy is on the Megnar form. But on the other hand, I think it is really easy for him just to stack it up in the middle of the fight, because those fights are seemingly very extended.
I mean, it all depends on how they like use the GP ultimate and Blood, to be honest. They should definitely try to play around Blood. Bot lane is pretty much far behind at this point, so don't really want to take any risk of fighting against Civil with the first item power spike over Tristana, who doesn't really have anything to give here.
Rift Herald is being taken by GameplayDNA. They're probably opting for that mid lane, the only one outer turret left.
The last one, actually. Now, Warwick making his way towards the mid lane here. And now it's Toaster, Pulsars, and Divider on mid.
And they decide not to use the Rift Herald. They may probably just want to use it for the split push.
But you don't really want to use it that early. You can always use the empowered back, first of all, because it just gives you a small edge on when it comes to time and tempo. So yeah, the next Drake is fairly useless, I would say. Not really that effective for both teams, though. Ocean Drake doesn't really give you that much when you have comms that are designed around like pretty fast fights.
Yeah,
not
it
really
is really helpful
long
in the laning phase.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and on side lanes, of course, if you have tanks. Sadly, we don't.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm actually glad. Not sadly. I'm glad that. Thanks.
Yeah, actually makes things way more attractive for viewers and also much more action, to be honest.
And now there's a package on Corki. They might be looking for a fight or there. Actually, the Rift Herald is being placed in the mid lane. They're finally trying to get that mid lane outer turret. The Wider is trying to get a position right there behind them. Is Morgana shield gonna be enough? He actually is going there in the mid lane, but does not connect with Permafrost. Decides not to go in because he still has his package up. Falcon Gaming might be in trouble. The Morgana stopwatch is used, but Warwick is already down in the team fight. They think that they have no chances. Falcon Gaming are just falling apart in the team fight, and everyone is just going down. 3 members dead. Oh, I didn't actually see that Pulsas managed to die in the team fight, but
I think it's only one target for free here. It's perfect. Like
if
really
you get the situation, if you get the conditions to sacrifice your support for 3 members in the mid lane tower, you will all time go for it.
Got 2 turrets. Really great overall like communication, I would say. Tristana was all the time on the top side, and they still, yeah, well, like, why were they even in the middle of the lane there? Why didn't they just respect them and stand behind the mid turret waiting for the rift turret, you know? They have enough wave clear for that. They should have, actually, with the barrels, but didn't really use them and then disrespected. That's
and
then
they also had the vision. He saw that the Divider was coming.
True.
Morgana was trying his best to use his ultimate and the stopwatch, but that was
actually landed a 4-man ultimate, but they kept going no matter what. And Alistar really has the negation with his ultimate. So
it's also very hard to contest when the Corki is with package. Like the package itself in the team fights is just obnoxiously strong.
Now we have 1 item ahead on nearly every member, as far as I see. No, actually, just on the support and the bot lane. Overall, GameplayDNA's bot lane is just having a blast as well this game. So again, for me, really great performance from Pulsars though, but also I have to say that Toaster is following up on everything. They're a great duo overall.
Great communication.
Yeah. Also, I really hope that our other matchup, that they are watching this and taking some notes on this to already be prepared for tomorrow for the finals. It will be really interesting to see like how far they like want to go, you know, when it comes to overall strategy and this stuff. Because right
the
now,
champions is going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like only the games. The fight, the war is going to start from the champion select. Now we're seeing the head push right there, but the Black Shield is there to defend the Warwick. He might be actually safe. Why was Tristana ulting there?
Right now, even like GP, it's just way too early for them to be aggressive. Like we mentioned in the draft as well, their comp is really late though. Early game doesn't really provide that much, so they have to be careful and have to respect and most likely stall to manage to get to the free item power spike to this area. Right now gets the static shift in the base here. First item for Tristana, though really late, I would say. Now they're threatening on the top side. I really like the overall strategy from GameplayDNA, not risking a dive, just threatening it, so they can't really walk under the turret for free here.
And the Gangplank ultimate was used right there, so I think that after getting that tower, they can just contest the vision around the Baron area and just can bait it over and over again. Whenever somebody steps forward, you can just go all in, because they have the item advantage, they have XP advantage, and basically they're doing just everything they want with that information that they have.
They could definitely bait them to just like face check it and then turn on them, because this Baron most likely should be a turn. They don't really have a tank, only like Pulsars or Sejuani, but they can't tank it for long. So if they want to go for the Baron, it will most likely be a turn.
Right now, Noxy actually is face checking that bush, but his Mega Gnar form is just about to get there. Ooh, oh, the Glacier Storm does not connect. Black Shield is already there for Warwick. This could potentially be a great team fight for the both teams to decide the game. Now the Wider could be in trouble. He is tanking a lot of damage for Tristana, but Tristana actually is doing so much. While Azidi in the team fight of the backline, he is going down. The fight is already 4 versus 5. The Black Shield is already going down.
Morgana is in trouble right now, and Blood as well. Ults on 2 people. Really nice though. Has to flash into Corki though. Oh, gets the heal off, but doesn't quite make it. Nah, on the other hand, on the top side, just zoning everyone, and this might be a free Baron.
Yeah, this is the Baron indeed. The fight itself, it looked pretty sloppy, but Gangplank took over. Like he did a crucial mistake. He appeared somehow in the back line.
Flanked or something?
Yeah, a flank as a Gangplank, and then he couldn't place those battles. He couldn't do anything in that situation, and that's ended up in just 3 members going down. And Warwick is trying his best to steal it, but there are members for GameplayDNA just to say, you ain't gonna get it.
Great blocking overall. It's super good communication here.
Yeah, the Baron is already taken by GameplayDNA.
Nice.
17-6. They are just molesting right now after the last team fight. This is just, I don't know.
Interesting choice for that word actually.
Yeah, but at that situation, what are you supposed to do? This is basically over. The early games seem to be pretty okayish. That's why I like Papa Smithy when he's casting. Like he's never saying that, oh, okay, this team can still come back to the game. Look at the situation.
You have to be honest at this point. You have to be honest. Yeah.
Look at the situation they're in. They have the scaling composition. They need the free items power spike, but it's so far away that with the lead that they have right now, I don't think it's really possible to put it off.
Yeah, and it's a bit like the same story from our first match, where the favorite team actually got a bit outplayed in the early game. Though was a bit sloppy though, and then managed to pull back. So hopefully,
especially the Lucchesi, the 1v1 fight when he managed to die, that's a little bit sloppy. I think that overall going for Ignite in this matchup is like saying that your opponents are not talented enough. Like going for teleport could really provide you the better laning phase.
I mean, would have been easier for him, though. I still expect, like, if they go for something like Ignite, choose to go with an aggressive jungler and then just really play more aggressive there on mid lane.
But he couldn't fight 2v2 are there.
Yeah.
Overall, they're going into the mid lane. The package is already there. The damage that Corki is providing is just nasty.
Nasty. As they hit the bottom turret here and go aggressive here, the Glacial Shroud actually hits on Morgana here as
Black
she dies.
was way too late. Now Tristana is trying to do her best, but actually cannot provide the damage. The Doxy is way too tanky right there, going under the tower. GameplayDNA just doing anything that they want in the base. The damage is not going out from Vladimir. He also goes to the respawn as well. The stun connects on Tristana, but he's managing to get away. Still has his rocket jump. But in that situation, the inhibitor is definitely down, and
it's actually the first time I see Tristana in this game. Before, that didn't really were there.
It was just losing lane then split push. Yeah. That's how AD carry works, don't you understand?
Well, of course, but it's really sad, I would say, to see this here. And yeah, actually, after that, there was no real way of coming back for them. Like, if at this point you have to be considerate about which fights you want to take, and at this point, I would say they have little to no chance. Like, I would say less than 5% chance, to be honest. Yeah,
you have to be decisive. Either you fight and defend the towers with 5 members at a tower, or either you're letting your AD carry split push to get the advantage, the minions, the tower. But it seemed that they wanted to pick 2 things at the same time, and now we're seeing another fight. ACD could potentially be in trouble. He is dropping down on HP. Gangplank is already out of the team fight. Now there's a Warwick in the middle of 4 members of GameplayDNA, and they're saying, you're going down, buddy, that's not gonna happen. Oh, the Black Shield is there for Morgana. He actually makes it out safe, but it's only 3 members from Falcon Gaming there in the base. Is that gonna be enough to defend the base? I think not.
This will probably be another turret, another inhib, and then preferably afterwards another Infernal, as we see like so many Infernals today
I don't think that Infernal is the case for them right now. They're just going straight for the base. Oh, the pool is already used by Vladimir, so he cannot engage the fight with the flash. He is forced to flash away from Doxy. Now the Morgana is trying to pull off his stun, but the Zhonya's is really questionable in that situation. He gets popped after the Zhonya is over, and now the Nexus towers are falling.
Actually looking to end here.
They are going for Nexus towers. Everybody from Falcon Gaming are going down. They have already no AD carry right there. Doxy is trying to pull off a ultimate, but Arler is pulling off a nice W right there. Now the Bronze 2 Smurf is saying, look at me, I'm actually not smurfing, this is my real division. And look at what is happening in the mid lane. Oh man.
Ouch! Ouch! That hurt actually. But yeah, like right now, it seems like they're quite disrespecting. They should have based afterwards. It's really RNG play to go for anything more than the inhib, I would say. Just take the like additional Infernal, pull over, like play on the top side afterwards. Nothing there to risk at this point, just big disrespect overall.
Yeah, but the second fire Drake. You don't even need anything else. Pick up the Drake, recall, get some items, go back to the base, and I think that the game is over.
Pretty much, yeah. At this point, would have expected something else, like the overall. Also, I don't really like the GP build. I saw it a lot though. It's probably the go-to build. But before, I really liked the transitioning with like IE, you know, with the crit build overall. Sadly, it's not the go-to build anymore. So really takes such a long time for GP to scale into the game overall.
Alright, so let's say that the game is basically really hardly winnable for the Falcon Gaming. You as a mental coach, you're a strategic coach.
Like I pretty much was doing both, you know. I was a head coach once.
So as a mental coach, what would you recommend for the Falcon Gaming at this situation?
At this situation right now, they should definitely hard reset. Like whenever you're trying to hard reset, you take a step back, you deeply breathe, and you try to like pull the last straw. You either die slowly, or you try to like at least fight for getting back into it. So right now, once they're approaching the turret on the top side, like they should give this anyways, the inner one. But once they approach the base turret, they should try to fight for the last time, because else it's just going to be a slow death.
Alright, and we're seeing GameplayDNA, they are already approaching in the top side. The item advantage is just it's way too big. It's way too big.
Yeah. Like it's super hard, but yeah, at this point, you could either like. I hope they don't try to wait it out, because it won't happen. They will just get pushed in, and yet they're turning aggressive here.
Nice combination from Alistar in this situation. Oh, Doxy is actually in a questionable situation. He cannot do any crowd control right there. Warwick is using his ultimate on Doxy, but he might be in trouble. But now he is going down from the Nexus towers, from the inhibitor tower, my bad. And the Corki is there, providing damage a lot from the side.
The turret is not gone yet, by the way. Pulsas is dead now. Have to be careful now, and this is what I said.
Lucchesi is going for the Nexus towers, while Team Falcon Gaming, they are trying their best to defend, and they are really low HP. They have to go to the base to get some HP back, but now Gangplank is going down. Morgana is done so as well.
And
that's a first
damage
win for GameplayDNA in the second semi-final, and that is it. That is it for this game.
That's a pretty GG here at this point. And look at the damage from Corki. Just amazing, and yeah, the Infernal is kicking in so much damage actually. GG goes to GameplayDNA.